So hello everyone, welcome back to Melvin Tang Games. So in today's video, we are going to continue building our inventory system by adding a hotbar feature. So many of you guys mentioned about this feature in the previous video. And if you haven't watched the first two parts yet, the inventory system and the save game one, I really recommend checking those out first since we'll be building on top of what we did there. By the way, I have also hosted a new kind of website here. So if you have a money to spare, maybe you can try to support me through this website here. It's called Buy Me a Coffee. So you can click on the link description, you can type your amount, maybe $1. It's up to you guys. It's all for making my channel grow faster. Okay, thank you again for all of your support, and yeah, let's head back to the video. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and give this video a thumbs up if you find this helpful. In this video, we'll go step by step through setting up the Hotbar UI, adding animations, handling inputs with both keyboard and scroll wheel, and even dragging and dropping the items between the inventory and the hotbar. And by the end of this video, you'll have a clean and functional hotbar system ready to go in your project. But I want to apologize for not uploading a video in around 2 months now, as I have a lot of schoolwork and exams happening right now, so I'm really sorry about that. Alright, so let's jump right into it and start by setting up the Hotbar UI on our player HUD. Maybe before that, I will show you what we have in the previous video. So we have a working inventory UI here, and you can also take an item. Let's take this apple for example, and you can also drag and drop to another slot. You can also drop the item. Alright, and you can also swap between items like this, and you can consume or equip this X for example, or let's consume this banana. It will consume the item and decrement the total amount from the item. We have also implemented a save game, so when you click 1 to save the game, you will be able to load the game, and it will be on this position, and all of the items positions are also saved, including the inventory UI there. Alright, so let's make our Hotbar UI. Alright, so let's make a new folder in our blueprint folder. So I'll go to the UI here, and you can make a new folder. I'll name this Hotbar. And now I have provided you with an asset that you can import to your project. It's just a very simple outline hotbar, so you can just drag and drop it to your content browser. Now let's make a new user interface. Widget blueprint. I'll name this WBP_hotbar. Alright, just open it. Now we'll start with a size box, but we have to change the field type from fill screen to desired on screen here. So we can customize it using the size box. And then let's add a size box here. Okay, check the width and height override. I'll set this to 1000 by 100. Oops, sorry. Alright, so let's add an overlay. Make it full screen. And then background blur. Again, full screen, and I'll set the blur strength to be around 5. And inside the background blur, I'll add an image to make a dark background kind of effect. Just make it black and change the opacity to 0.5. Okay, now let's make our horizontal box. So this will be the container of each slot, hotbar slot. And if you try to drag and drop this to the tab here, it will not work. So you have to drag this onto the overlay. Now it will work. Make sure that it fills the entire overlay, but I will change the horizontal alignment to be center, so the hotbar will appear on the center first, and it will go to the left and right. I'll also set the padding to 5 here to make some spacing between all directions there. Don't forget to check the S variable, and I'll name this HB_slotbar. Right, compile. And now let's put this hotbar onto our player HUD. So you can go back and go to the WBP player HUD here. So this is the main widget for the player, so you can just add everything here. So here we have added inventory here and also the item notification list. So we will add our hotbar here. So you can just type here hotbar and just drag it into the canvas panel there. And you can click on the anchor here and hold Control and click on the bottom middle here. Change the alignment to be 0.5 on the X and 1 on the Y. And now let's click play and we will see Right now the hotbar appears on our player HUD, but there's some weird problem here where you try to open the inventory. You will see that the hotbar overlaps with the inventory UI here, and I will solve that first. That's a very easy one. So I will just add an animation for sliding the hotbar to the right, and whenever you close the inventory, the hotbar will slide back to the middle. Okay, so go to the player HUD here and click plus on the animation. So you can name this anything you want. I'll just name Hotbar Slide. Just click that. Make sure that the blue outline here appears on your canvas tab. Alright, and then you can just scroll down, click the hotbar and scroll down, expand the transform, and just click plus on the keyframe here. And you'll see that the widget is appearing on the animation tab here. And you can just drag your timeline handle here. I'll just make it to 0.25 seconds, and you can set the translation of the x-axis here to maybe around 275. That should be enough. And don't forget to click plus on the keyframe for this property, and you will see that the blue line appears here, and now you can try to move your handle and you will see that the hotbar is moving. Alright, so I think this one is a pretty minor details that if you focus to little small details on your game, I think it will make your game more better and enjoyable, you know. Alright, so we got this already. Now we can compile and go to the event graph. And here is what we have in the previous video where we make a function for toggling the inventory. You can just add a new node on the end of this. So just drag from your animation here, hotbar slide, drag it, and just type play animation. Since this one is the inventory open toggle, so we will play this forward. You just copy paste that and set this to reverse. Compile and play. And now whenever you open your inventory, the hotbar will slide to the left. Yeah. And whenever you close the inventory, it will slide back to the middle. Yeah, so that's very simple. So the next one here, we'll make a hotbar slot widget. So we're gonna go back to the content browser and go inside to your folder here and make a new user interface. Here I will name this WBP underscore hotbar slot. Double click on it. So let's start with changing the field type here to desired, so we can again set size based on the size box. You can make a size box and put it in the widget hierarchy here. Change the width and height override to 100 by 90. Make it full screen, and then we'll make an image. This will be the background of the hotbar slot. The image gonna fill the entire overlay, but I will set the padding of this overlay to 10 on the right direction. Alright, so we're gonna add another size box onto the overlay here, and again we're gonna make it centered here, and change the width and height override to be around 50 by 50. Oh, maybe it's too small, 60 by 60. So this is gonna be the item icon container here. So now we can add an item icon. Image. Okay, make it full screen. Maybe I will just change the background color this to be like grayish, something like this. And I'll make the opacity to 0.75. It should be great. So back to this image right here, I'm just gonna try to assign a placeholder image. So let's pick this apple, for example, and I'll name the image to be img underscore item icon. It's pretty simple. Now let's add text. So change the text content to be like 1, for example. Then check the is variable and name this txt underscore slot index. So this is gonna be the slot index. So you'll see like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right. So maybe I'm gonna change the font typeface to be regular and change the opacity to like 0.75. Set the size to 20. Alright, so let's make a padding of the left and top to be 5. Right, so it will make a space from this text to the overlay. So let's add another image here, make a full screen. So this is gonna be the outline indicator that you select this hotbar, or whenever you want to drop an item from your inventory to the hotbar, it will show this like outline indicator that you see in this image right here. Set the image brush to be this hotbar underscore outline. Right, so for this, I will rename this to be img underscore hotbar selected white. So I'm gonna have two type of indicator. The first one is the white colored and the second one is the yellow. So you can just duplicate Ctrl D and change the name to be yellow, and you can change the color to be like a bit more yellowish like this. Okay, it's pretty simple. And the last thing that we have to add in this UI is to add the item amount. So you can just make another text, put it on top of the overlay, make it right align horizontally and bottom align vertically. Change the justification to be right. Set the text to be like maybe 9. So this is going to indicate the item amount. Check the is variable. Set the name to be txt_item amount. Set the padding of the right position to be 10 and the bottom one to be 5. Alright, so I think we are good to go on this UI. So you can go to the event graph and we'll work on the first function. So first we have to set the slot index text. So you can just drag off your slot index text here and you can type this set text and we'll make a new integer variable. So you can just click add on the new variable there. I'll name this in Hotbar index. Alright, so just change the type to be integer and don't forget to make it editable and expose on spawn. Alright, we can drag off the integer and we can plus it by 1 because this index will start from 0. And we can just drag this addition to the text there and it will make this to text integer, and you can expand that and change the maximum integral digit to be 1. And maybe if you have more than 10 hotbar, you can change the digits to be 2. And now we'll make a new function here. I'll name this toggle selected hotbar. Alright, so this will trigger whenever the player select this hotbar, whether by keyboard or mouse scroll wheel. So this function will show the hotbar selected outline that we just created, white one. Alright, so we're gonna just drag the image there and set the visibility of this. Okay, drag off this and type select, and you can add a new input to this function. It will be the selected boolean. Just change the type to boolean and just drag this into the select index wildcard there. Okay, if it's true, just change this to the not hit testable and the false gonna be on collapsed. Compile. Now go to the event graph. Back again, we're gonna call the toggle selected hotbar function and make it false by default. The next function we're gonna make is get hotbar item. So we're gonna add a new output there. The first one is the empty, is empty. Alright, second one is the item data. Make sure you have this item data. If not, you should watch the previous video where we create the item data structure. Alright, just add, call this item data. The next one is the integer. So this will be the slot index. And the last one is the InventorySlotData. And I'll name this to be like hotbar item, something like that. Alright, so what we're gonna set this is we're gonna have a new variable. So here I'll just make a new variable and I'll name this hotbar item. Okay, change this to inventory slot. I will not make it editable and access on spawn. I'll just leave it like this. And then you can drag this onto the function. Just break it here. Just plug the is empty, item data, slot index, as well as the hotbar item to the hotbar item here. Right? Make sure you got the exactly the same, otherwise it won't work. Right? Just compile. By the way, I want to explain why do we have to use the inventory slot data instead of making a new one, like for example hotbar structure or hotbar item data, something like that. So just gonna explain it first here to make things more clear in the future. So I'll go to the item. Currently we have this item data, right? And we also have the I'm just gonna open the data table here. Go to the inventory, and we also have this inventory slot data, right? So some of you guys were confused and asked me in the comment section asking like what is the difference between item data and inventory slot data. Right, so I'm just gonna explain it in a very beginner way. So we have two structures there, right? The first one is the item data. It's like a description of for a single item. So for example, if you have this apple or banana, you can also set each item data, for example, this description, this a name, this icon, or even the blueprint class. But you have to specify this data and you have to add it by using a structure. Okay, so it tells us the item name, icon, category, and so on. And the second one here is we have this inventory slot data. It's more like a box or shelf that holds the item. In this case, it's the inventory slots that we have created in the previous video, and it knows if the slot is empty or which item is currently in this slot. Alright, so I think that's pretty clear. And the question is why we reuse the inventory slot data instead of making a new Hotbar slot or Hotbar item data is because by using the same inventory slot data for both the inventory and the Hotbar, we will make moving items between them super simple and efficient. So there's no extra conversion when dragging and dropping items since we only use the same structure data for both the inventory data and the Hotbar slot data. I hope that's clear. I had no more questions from that. So let's continue the video, guys. Okay, after we make the get Hotbar item, I will make this pure. What is a pure function here means that if we set this function as a pure function, I'll just demonstrate to you guys. So we can I'll just try to set this as a pure function and compile. And whenever you want to get the Hotbar item here, you don't have to plug in any execution pin from the previous node. So you can just use this as a standalone or a pure function that you don't have to plug anything to it, But this only works if the input and output here doesn't have any logic to it. So if you have something like branch, or if you do some get array elements or for loop, for example, you cannot make this as a pure, and it will not run all of the nodes between this input and the output function. That's very simple. So I'm just gonna make it as a pure function because in this case we don't have any logic to run here. You just have to break the structure and just set it back to the return node. So that's very simple. So let's make another function. This will be the set Hotbar item. Okay, so this function will set all text, also the item amount, the item icon of the item that we're gonna put it into. So it's gonna have two inputs. So the first one is the item data. So we change the type to be item data here. The next one is boolean clear. So if we check this, it will just clear this Hotbar slot. So it will hide the text, it will hide the item icon and so on. So let's make a branch, plug the clear into the branch there. And now we'll first work on the clearing the Hotbar first, right? So we're just gonna set the Hotbar item here. Just hold Alt and drag the variable there. And you can make this structure. Check the is empty to be true. Set the item data to be null. And you're gonna keep the slot index. So just drag the Hotbar index and plug it into the slot index there. So I'm gonna set the visibility of the item amount, item icon, and also the Hotbar selected white and yellow. So just call the set visibility. I'll set this to collapsed. So plug in all the target into the widgets there. Set this, plug this into the true on the branch. So let's work on the false here. Just copy the set the Hotbar item. Let's make a structure and set the is empty to be false. The item data gonna goes into the item data from the input. Slot index gonna be the same, Hotbar index. Yeah, that's very simple. And now we just have to set the visibility of some of this. Just copy that. Change this to visible. So this will be the item amount, item icon. Alright, yeah, that's all. So let's set the text of the item amount here. So I'm just gonna break from the item data that we have here. Check from the item data and break the structure. Alright, just set the name into the text. Next one is the item icon. So just gonna drag that and set brush from texture. Texture is gonna go into the item icon there. The last one here, I will just set the visibility. Just copy that again of the selected yellow and outline white here to be collapsed. Alright, very simple. I can compile and go back to the event graph and just set the Hotbar item here. Just call the function on the event construct and set it to be clear. And then when you click compile and play, you should see that we haven't initialized the hotbar. So it's gonna be our last thing to do. So you just go back to the WBP hotbar here. Go to the event graph. Let's make a new function. Initialize hotbar. It's gonna have one input, so it's gonna be quick. So you can just set the type to be integer, and I'll name this number of slot. Alright, make a for loop. Unplug that one, and from this you can subtract it by 1 because index starts from 0, and plug this into the last index. Here we have to create a new widget. So create widget. For the class, it's gonna be the WBP_Hotbar slot. Like that. Set the index to be the index from the for loop, and we're gonna have to add this widget to the horizontal box that we have. So you can drag off the HB slot bar there and add child. You can also use the add child to horizontal box, but I'm just gonna use the default add child there. Alright, just plug it in, set the content to be the widget there. Compile. Go to the event graph and just call the initialize hotbar and on the event construct of this hotbar widget there. Right, I'm just gonna set the number of slots to be maybe 10 for now. Compile and play. Now we will see that 10 hotbar slots appeared on the Hotbar UI. And also when you open the inventory, the Hotbar UI will slide to the right, and whenever you close it, it will go back to the middle one. Alright, so that's for this part. So we're gonna move on to the next part. The next part will be making the hotbar can be selected using keyboard input as well as mouse scroll wheel. Go to the third person, input, actions. Here you can just duplicate from, let's say IA jump here. I'll name this IA_select hotbar. Double click on that. Okay, make sure the value type is the digital bool. And we can save it, and we can go back and click on the IMC default. Open this asset here. Okay, on the mappings here, expand that, click plus, and click on the IA_select hotbar. Also expand the node there, and now you can add multiple key binding here. So I'll make 10, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, and for each key, I will just click on this button here, and you can press 1 on your keyboard. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. Alright, click save. I'll also make for the scroll wheel, so you can go back to the actions, and I'll just make a new input here just to demonstrate what's the difference. And I'll name this IA_select hotbar scroll. Alright, double click on that. Now I'm gonna choose the axis 2D. I'll just pick the axis 1D or float here. Okay, just save. Go back into the IMC default. Let's add a new mappings here. Choose the IA_select hotbar scroll, and you can just type mouse wheel axis there. Alright, now click save. Now let's go into our component. So go to the blueprint, inventory component here. I'll make a new function. I'll name this select hotbar. Okay, on this I will just make a branch, but before that I will make a new variable here. Just click plus on the variable. I'll name this current selected hotbar. Make this an integer. Alright, drag it into the select hotbar function. I'll also add a new inputs to the function. So this will be the also an integer. I'll name this new index. Drag this off, and I'll type this not equal boolean. If it's not equal to the current selected hotbar, we can select this new index. Right? Just plug into the branch, and we can set. So hold Alt and drag it there. From the new index here, I'll just make a select integer. Move this into the B, so you can just hold Control and move the pin into the B pin there, right? And for the pick A, I will just use the new index. If it's equal to 0, I will pick the 10. Why I make this? Because if we press the 0 key on the keyboard, it will be the 10th index of the slot, right? We don't want to select the 0 index. You can just plug this into the current selected hotbar. And I'll also make a new event dispatcher, so I'll just make a new event dispatcher here. Click plus there. I'll name this on hotbar selected. So we will listen to this event dispatcher from all of the inventory slots. Oh, sorry, Hotbar slots. Okay, so we just call it here. Maybe I will make a new inputs on the event dispatcher. So click on that and click on the inputs plus here. I'll name this current selected Hotbar. Compile, you will see some error here, so you can just right click and click refresh nodes. Compile again, and now you can set the current the variable into the pin there. Right? Very easy. Now we can compile. Okay. Now we can go back into our UI hotbar to subscribe to the event dispatcher that we just created. So go to the UI hotbar, WBP hotbar here. Go to the event graph. After the initialize hotbar, I will get the inventory component reference. So to get that, maybe we can just take it from the character. So you can just get play character. Cast this to a BP 30% character. If you have a different type, a different name of character, you can also use that. And from this, we can just get the BPAC component. Make sure that you have added this component into the player reference, into the player class, sorry. And then we can just assign on hotbar selected like that. You can actually just use bind. From this, you can just add a new custom event. It's pretty much the same as using the assigned button there, assign type there. Okay. And from this, I will just get the slot index, but maybe before that, I will just make another variable here, current selected hotbar. This will be WBP underscore hotbar slot. Okay, and from this we can just hold Control and get it. Right click and convert to validated get. Or actually, you can just use this one and just type is valid. This is also same. Okay. And from this, I will just toggle the selected hotbar here, make it unchecked first, and we will set this variable with a new index. So to do that, we can just hold Alt here, and we will get the child index from the horizontal box here. So I just drag it and get child add. The index gonna be the current selected hotbar -1, sorry. And just cast to WBP underscore hotbar slot. Convert to pure cast and just drag it back there. And we have to toggle the selected hotbar to true. Right? Now we can try to compile. Now we'll go back to the inventory component to add the input. So we'll go to the event graph here, and maybe on the top here I'll just make I'll just right click and type the IA underscore select hotbar. And on the ongoing here, or you can also use started or triggered, it's up to you, but I'm just going to use the ongoing. I'll just for each loop, and from this I'll just get the player controller, this one, and just call the get enhanced input local player subsystem. This will get the new input system, and from this I'm just gonna type the query keys map to actions. Like that. And for the action here, search for the IA select hotbar. Return value drag into the for each loop, and we can have a branch now and get the player controller. And for this one, I'm just gonna type is input key down, and the key is gonna be from the array element there. Plug the return value into the branch, and I will just call the select hotbar function. The new index is gonna be the key name, but to get that, we have to get from the array element here. Let's type get key display name. If you want to convert the text into the integer, it doesn't compatible, so you have to change to a string first. You have to convert to a string first, and then you can convert to an integer. Alright, so that's very easy. Now we can try to compile and play. And now when you press your keyboard, it doesn't show up there. Oh, sorry guys, so I forgot to go back to the WBP hotbar here, and on this event here, you have to plug the is not valid into the current selected hotbar setting there. So just gonna make a readout node so it will be more readable. Yeah, so make sure you guys do this, otherwise it will not work, because this variable will be null at the first, and you have to set it to a new value before you can deselect it like this. Okay, now it should work. If you compile and play, when you press your keyboard, now it will show up the selected outline there, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0, and 0 gonna select the 10th index instead of the 0 index of the Hotbar slots. But I have some small issues. So when you try to start the game, you will see that there is no hotbar selected currently yet. So I want to make a default selected hotbar. I'll just use the first index of the slot to be the current selected index. So just go back into the component here, inventory component, and on the event begin play here, I will just make a small delay to make it more safer, because the component will, I think it will be the last to generate. So I'll just try it. So wait. Yeah, it doesn't work. So I have to add a new delay. A very small delay should be enough, like 0.1 or 0.2. 0.1. Now we can play the game. Yep, and now it will select the first slot index as the default one. Alright, and now we can use our keyboard to navigate between slots. And the last thing we have to do is to make a scroll wheel support. So to do that, it's very simple. You can add another IA here. So just type IA underscore select hotbar scroll here, and on the action value and on the trigger. Okay, on that I'll just break from the action value here. I'll just type if it's equal to -1. Okay, plug into the trigger. I will select the hotbar with the current selected hotbar. This one should be the up, so just add 1. The mouse will scroll down and then it will increase the index hotbar. And for the false, I'll just make another branch. So again, duplicate it. If it's equal to 1, conditions, copy this one, select hotbar, but make it -1. Alright, now we can try to play the game. I think it should work. Compile and play. When you use your mouse scroll wheel, now it will work. Okay, you can also use your keyboard as well, and you can also use your mouse there. But we have some small issue again. So if you scroll a bit more further than this, it will like select the null index of the slot, and it will also make an error. Yeah, here. So to fix that, we can go back into the select hotbar function here, and we have to make some kind of redirect back into the 0 index and the 10 index. And to do that, I will just select the integer, just copy that, and from this plug this into this one. And again, for the new index here, I'll just type if it's greater than 10, pick A. I'll just type 0 on the A, and B go to the select integer we have previously. Okay, compile. Oh, I think it should work. So when you try to scroll more than this, oh, it doesn't work. Sorry. So if the new index is greater than 10, oh, sorry, it should be 1 and not 0. Compile and play. Yeah, no, it works. It also works both ways. So if you scroll up like this, it will go back into the 10th index. When you scroll down, it will also go back into the 0, the first index, sorry. Yeah. So now we have our keyboard working as well as the mouse scroll wheel working. And now we can proceed to the next part. Okay, so guys, the next part will be to make the inventory slot draggable into the hotbar. So you can drag the inventory item into the hotbar. Okay, so let's start. We're gonna go to the UI, inventory slot here. And to make some small adjustment here, go to the on drag detected here. So previously, we set the payload to be the drag and drop thumbnail widget reference. So I think that we can change this to self. Why? Because if you drag this the inventory slot somewhere else, you can get the payload. It will reference into this inventory slot that will let you access all of the variables here. And later, I will make a variable in this inventory slot, like to drag between inventory and the hotbar. So if you haven't changed this to self, so go ahead and change this to self. So after we change the on drag detected, so now we can work on the event graph. So go to the event graph, and on the drag cancelled here, and here I'll make 2 new variables here. The first one is drag to hotbar, right? And then the second one is selected hotbar. Okay, So this one's gonna be the WBP underscore Hotbar slot. I can compile, and from this I will just break the pin here first. Make another branch here. The condition is gonna be the drag to hotbar and boolean if the selected hotbar is valid. Okay, so if it's valid and this boolean is true, we will move this item in the inventory slot to the hotbar slot, right? So plug this into the conditions. I'll make another branch, and from the selected hotbar here, you can just copy that. I'll just get the hotbar item. Okay, if it's empty, we don't have to swap the item between the hotbar and the inventory. So I will just handle the is empty first, and then later on we can handle the is not empty to swap both the items. Alright, so from the true here, we can drag again from the certain hotbar here and set hotbar item. The item data is gonna be the item data from the InventorySlotData, so just gonna break it like that. From this, you can just break the structure InventorySlotData and plug in the item data right there. Very easy. And the next one here, we have to clear this inventory slot, but currently we don't have a specific function to clear the inventory slot, so we have to make that. So I'm gonna go back into the inventory component here and just click on the plus on the function here. I'll name this clear inventory slot. It's gonna have one input of the type slot data, inventory slot data. I'll name the slot data to clear. Okay, and you can break this. Oh yeah, we have this inventory slots array, so we can just get a reference, not a copy, because we want to set a members in this one. So on the index here is gonna be the slot index there. And here, set members in structure inventory slot data. Just expand the default category and I check on all of this. Plug that in, check the is empty to true. The slot index gonna be the same on the slot index there. I think you can just leave it unchecked like that. You will use what it has already in the array there. And now we can call the on item removed. Event dispatcher call inventory slot. Okay, compile, go back into the inventory slot here. To get the inventory component reference, I'm just gonna use the same method. So I'm just gonna get the player character, cast this to the BP third person character. Oh, no cast. I'm just gonna call the BPAC inventory component, get it, and just call the function clear inventory slot. And for the slot data to clear, I'll just set it to the inventory slot data in this inventory slot. Damn, that's a bit complicated, guys, to say that, but I hope you guys can understand what I was saying. So yeah, if you don't, you can just feel free to ask me in the comments. So I will be very happy to ask to help you answer your questions. All right. After that, we will just have to clear our selected hotbar and make the drag to hotbar to be false. Okay, so we're gonna go back a bit here, and on the false here, don't forget to just plug the false back into the move to a new slot, so it can so you can still move this slot into another inventory slot. And now I think we can try to play it. Actually, no, we have to set the selected hotbar variable first. So we have to go back into the hotbar slot here. Now we just have to add two new events. So event on drag enter. Oops, sorry. Yeah, event on drag leave and event on drag enter. Yeah, actually you have these two event. And here we have the operation, right? So this is what I was saying. So we can get the payload and we can cast this to the inventory slot. So there will be inventory slot. Yeah, just plug it there, and from here we can now set the drag to hotbar to be true, and we can set the selected hotbar to be self. Okay, just like that. And I will also want to show the outline selected yellow here, so just drag it and set the visibility to be visible. Okay, copy this, paste there, plug it to the event drag leaf, plug in the operation, and just make it false and make it null. So just gonna delete the self there. set the visibility to be hidden. Okay, compile and play. I think we should be able to at least move this into the hotbar. Yeah, now it will show up the yellow outline selected there. If we drop it, now it will show Apple there, but I think we still have to fix the issue there. So maybe I will try to go into the set hotbar item. Maybe if we have something wrong. Yeah. Okay guys, I'm really sorry, but we have to set the item current quantity into the item amount, not the item name. So I'm really sorry, but I will just current quantity drag into the index. Okay, just compile and play. I think we should be able to drag this. Alright, so now we have implemented the inventory into the hotbar implementation. Yeah, we can still move between inventory, and we can also drop it into the level. Alright, that's very cool. And now what we have to do is now to be able to move back from the hotbar into the inventory, as well as moving from hotbar to hotbar. And also we will implement the swap between items here. So because currently if you just drag this into a slot has been occupied, it will not work. So let's implement that first. So go back into the WP inventory slot here, and on the false branch on here, if the hotbar is not empty, we will swap this. To swap it, we have to have another variable. So I'm gonna make a new variable here, temp hotbar item data. Okay, we can now hold alt and just on the false here. The type of this should be the item data. Change variable type name, just close that, and I'll just plug in the item data into the temp hotbar item data, and then we will get the selected hotbar and set the hotbar item. I'm just gonna copy it from this one though. Yeah. Okay, and then I will set this move to a new slot. I'm just gonna go into the move to a new slot function here. Okay, so on this move to a new slot function, we'll make some little adjustment. So go make a new input. So just gonna make a new input, and I'll name this from hotbar. Yeah. So this will support the swapping between the hotbar and so on, because we want to use a different indexing method. Alright, and then we're gonna make another one. So it will be the new data or item data from hotbar. This will be the item data, and then I will just from the inventory alt inventory slot temp here, unplug that and just type select here. The index, plug this into the from hotbar. Alright, and for the false, plug back the InventorySlotData. And on the true, I will make uncheck the is empty and set the item data into the item data from hotbar. Like that. And on this one, because we want to move from the hotbar to the new item slot, so I think we can just get the old slot here, copy that and convert to validated get. And if it's valid, just plug it there, and if it's not valid, I'll just plug it directly into the update slot, the new slot there. Right? Yeah. So now we can move item between the hotbar and the InventorySlotData. And the last one here on the drag leaving here, I just make an end boolean. Plug this into the conditions, drag the from hotbar here and just type not boolean and drag it to the end pinned there. Okay, compile. Now we can go back into the inventory slot, and now we can call the move to a new slot. So we can just copy paste it like this. The target is the inventory UI. Okay, so I'm gonna call the inventory UI reference there. Check the from hotbar, and the new slot is gonna be the self here. So I'm gonna unplug from the old slot. I'll just leave the old slot empty. Plug the self into the new slot. Check the from hotbar, and we will set the item data from hotbar to the temporary item data. Copy paste the unreferencing here. Now let's try to play the game and we will see. I think it should work. If you take multiple items and then you drag one into the hotbar, and now we can swap. Oh yeah, that is working, guys. So the last two part that we have to make is to support the drag and drop between hotbar as well as drag it back into the inventory UI. So to make the hotbar slot draggable, we have to copy some of these on mouse button down, up, and this drag detected. Go back into the hotbar slot. Just click on the override here and make the on mouse button down, on mouse button up, and on drag detected. Okay. I'll just start from the on drag detected there first. I'll just copy from what we have in the InventorySlotData. So go on the InventorySlotData and click on the on drag detected here. Just gonna copy that. I think it should be very similar. Inventory slot. Copy that. And here just right click on this one and create a local variable. Okay, we have to make a reference for the inventory UI. So we're just gonna right click and create a new variable, not the local variable. And we will handle this soon. Okay, click compile first. Set the return value of this operation into the return node, like that. We will change the InventorySlotData to the hotbar item. Okay, compile. Now we got two warnings. It's because the on mouse button down and up. I'll again copy from what we have in the inventory slot. So go here and on mouse button down here, just gonna copy it. Just like that. Go back into the hotbar slot. Just paste it. Just like that. Plug the detect drag here to the return value. And we can make a local mouse event here. So just create local variable for this and set the mouse event from the input to the local variable there. For the InventorySlotData, change to the hotbar item. I think it should work. So compile. And for the on mouse button up, so for now we can just leave it unhandled. Otherwise it will return a warning there. So compile. Alright, so the next one is we have to set this inventory UI reference somewhere else. So we're gonna check the instance editable and expose on spawn. Alright, compile, and we will set this inside wbb_hotbar. Okay, but from this we have to get the UI reference first. So I'm just gonna make a new variable here. I'll name this inventory UI reference. Set that one. From this one, now we can get a parent, get the parent of this widget, get the outer object twice. So from the return value, just plug it into another get outer object, and from this return value, we'll just now cast to wbb_player HUD. Okay, convert to pure cast, and here you can get the inventory UI. Like that. Oops, sorry. It's this one. Oh yeah, we have to change the type to inventory UI reference. We can drag it like that. Okay. And compile. Go into the initialize hotbar function, and on the create widget here, we can right click and refresh the nodes. It will show up the inventory UI. If it doesn't show up, we can go back into the hotbar slot. Make sure you check the expose on spawn here enabled on the inventory UI. Compile. Now you should see it, the pin here. And we can just drag the inventory reference like that. Compile and play. I believe that now it should already work. It will make a drag drop operation. Yeah, it works. Very nice. So now you just have to handle the on drag cancel. Okay, now we can go back into the event graph. Go to the hotbar slot event graph. On the bottom here, now we can assign a new event. So event on drag cancel. Okay, before we do anything, go to the inventory UI. I'll make one new variable here. So currently we have the drag leaving. I want to make a drag leaving from hotbar. Like that. Compile. go back into the Hotbar slot. Gonna get the Inventory UI reference and set the is slot dragging to false. I think this one is similar to what we have in the inventory slot here, but I will just rewrite everything so it will be more clearer. Okay, make a branch. On the condition here, I'm just gonna make an on and boolean there and call the drag leaving from Hotbar. Oh, sorry, that's one. And another one is the get drag leaving. So plug it like that. Alright. And then on the false here, we can have another branch. We will make two new variables again. Drag to Hotbar. So this will handle drag from Hotbar slot to another Hotbar slot. And another one is the selected Hotbar. So very similar to what we have. I think we can just copy it. I'm really lazy, guys, so just copy that. Paste it there. Go to the branch. Okay, just gonna delete that, and we can right click and create variable. And for the InventorySlotData, we can change it to the Hotbar ItemData. So Hotbar item. Also for this one, I think we don't have to clear the inventory slot there. Yeah, we can just delete that. I think we have to set this Hotbar slot as an empty slot. So to do that, we can just set the Hotbar item of the self target here. Just check the clear boolean there. You can drag this back into the uninitialization. Okay, and from the false here, we can again make a create variable there, and from this we can just call the Hotbar item. But instead of calling the move to a new slot, we just delete that, and we will also call the set Hotbar item of this self to the temporary Hotbar item data. So that something like that. Okay, try to compile and play. I believe that now it should work when we move an item from a slot to another Hotbar slot. Oops, well, it doesn't work. We have to initialize it on the drag enter and drag leave. Just gonna make some space for it. So on the cast failed here, I will just cast this to WBP underscore Hotbar slot. The object is gonna be the payload. The payload, and then set the drag to Hotbar to true. You cannot just copy paste it because it has a different target. Okay, another one is the set selected Hotbar. Set this to plug it there. Set this to true. Set this to self. And again, I'm just gonna copy it from this one to set the selected yellow outline. Okay, do the same for the leaving. It's gonna drag it a bit to the right there. Okay, it's gonna copy it from this. Paste that. Cast failed. Plug it into the Hotbar slot. Payload to the object. Set this to false. Delete the self. And change this to hidden. Change this to hidden. Compile and play. Now it should work. And try to move your item to another Hotbar slot. Now it will work. Okay, however, the dropping here still doesn't work. So, oh, I'm really sorry, guys. This branch should be on the false and not on the true. So it's gonna plug the false into the branch there. So unplug the true one, because for the true we will drop the item into the world. Okay, gonna compile and play it first to test it out. So you can now move the item into the Hotbar, and you can move it between other Hotbar as well. And now you can also swap it like that. You can move this to Hotbar there, and now we can swap between Hotbar item. Yeah, that's very cool, guys, to have that working. And the next part is we will have to handle the drop from Hotbar to the world, and as well as we can drag this back into the inventory slot, which we cannot do as of now. Okay, so let's move on to that part. Okay, so on the false branch on here, on the drag to hotbar false here, we're gonna make another branch to check if the new slot is empty or not. So to do that, we can get the inventory UI. So we're gonna get the inventory UI here, and we're gonna get the drag and drop new slot. Also get the inventory slot data. Okay, and then we can break this to get the is empty. So we're gonna plug this into condition, and if it's true, you can call the move to a new slot function. Get the inventory UI here, call the move to a new slot, take the from hotbar to true, and for the old slot, I'm just gonna leave it as empty. The new slot is gonna be the drag and drop new slot. Like this, plug into the new slot there, check the from hotbar to true, and the item data from hotbar is gonna be the hotbar item data. Where is it? This one, and just gonna break it. So get the item data like that. Okay, then we are gonna have to clear this hotbar, so we're just gonna drag this hotbar item, make the target to be self, item data leave it as empty, and check the clear to be true. Just gonna copy this like the hotbar and paste it there, plug it there. Okay, and for the false here, you have to again make a temp item data. Actually, we have that we already have that here. So I'm just gonna reuse that. So alt and set it, plug it into the false item data, plug it in like that. I'm just gonna copy this. I'm just gonna copy from that into this one. All right, and the next one is gonna set the hotbar item to the temp. It's like this. Don't check the clear. Plug this node into the second hotbar initialization. Okay, compile and play. And now we can drag from the inventory to the hotbar. We can drag from the hotbar to another hotbar slot. We can also drag this back into the hotbar, into the inventory slot. Yeah, that's working, guys. Very nice. We can also swap between item like that. Yeah, it should work perfectly fine. Yeah, okay. So the last thing we have to implement is the drop mechanism. So because it will work well if you drop the item from the inventory slot like this, but it doesn't work if you try to drop this apple, for example, which is in the hotbar. Yeah, it will not work. So we have to fix that. Oh, we got an error. We got an error, which is the drag and drop new slot, I guess. So on the false here, we can run a null check first. So on the hotbar slot here, on the false again right here, we can just copy and paste the drag and drop new slot here, right click and convert to a validated get, and from the false here just plug in into the get here, and sorry. Okay, if it's true, we will go to the branch. Yeah, I think this one should work. Compile. Now let's implement the drop item from the hotbar. Okay, and we can go back into the hotbar slot here. We're gonna work on this branch, on the true part here, which will drop the item. You can just get the inventory slot reference. I'll just get the BPAC component because the drop item function is in the inventory component. So I'll just get the player character here. Cast to BP third person character. Get the BPAC component. Sorry. Get the BPAC inventory component. We just call the drop item. And for the inventory slot, it's just gonna be the get hotbar item. Just plug the hotbar item inventory slot to the inventory slot like that. But I'll just try to look at this function. Okay, so this drop item will only work well with the inventory slot data because it has to get the slot index here, which is different from what we have in the hotbar. So we can make another input here. Just make it dropping from hotbar. Make it as a boolean there. Just gonna make a branch on this one after the sequence type 1 then 1 here, just before the set members here. Plug it there. Get dropping from hotbar. Okay, so if it's true, I will just skip the set the members here. skip it directly into the line trace like that. Just make a reroute node, and on the false, just plug it back into the set members. That should be it. So we can compile and go back to the Hotbar slot. Check the dropping from Hotbar like that. And I will also clear this Hotbar. So it's gonna set a Hotbar item. ItemData, make it false, set the clear boolean to be true. Make sure the target is the self of this Hotbar. Compile and play. Now I think it should work, guys. So now you can drag this into the Hotbar, and we can drag, we can drop it to the level. Okay, it doesn't work because we have to set the drag leaving from Hotbar to true whenever we move out our mouse from the Hotbar UI here. So we can go back to WBP Hotbar here. We can make an event on drag enter and leave. Yep, like that. And since we already have the UI reference here, the inventory UI reference, we can just simply get the is slot dragging. If it's true, okay, we will set drag leaving from Hotbar to be true, to be false, sorry, and we can just copy that. On the on drag leave, we will set this to be true. Compile, and now this will work, guys. So you can take another item, drag this into the Hotbar, and drag it into the level. Now it works. It also works. I will also try another one. So we can drag this into the Hotbar. We can also drop it from the inventory slot like that, like usual. There, now we can swap. We can also drop it into the level. We can even drag it back to the inventory UI. Yeah, so I think we already done most of the implementation here. We also got no errors, which is nice. Okay. For the next part, we will make consume item and equip item inside the Hotbar. So we're gonna have an interaction. Okay, so to make the item status or the item name, like Minecraft, I think we can go into the Hotbar UI, WBP Hotbar here, go to the designer, and from this I will just make a size box, plug this into the overlay like that, make it a center and vertical alignment to be top like this. Check the width and height override, set this to 250 and 75, I guess. Too much, maybe 60. Okay, and set the top padding to -60. And then inside this size box, we will add a simple text. Add a text there, make it this bottom align vertically, and change the justification to be center. Okay, I'll set the is variable to be check the is variable, and I'll set the name to be txt_hotbar status. Maybe for the text, I'll just set a placeholder. So item name and enter. Sorry. E to consume, I guess, or yeah, something like that. You can also use anything you want. I will increase the size of it, 75 maybe. I will just decrease the font size. I think that's better. Decrease to 20, make it regular. Yeah, pretty nice. Maybe add some padding to the bottom of this text. Oh, wait. Oh, make the padding of the top to be -10. Set the padding bottom to be 0, back to 0. Compile, go to the event graph. Now you can make a new function. I'll name this set hotbar status. So this function will have one input. It's gonna be the slot inventory data, inventory slot data, and this one is the item inventory slot data. Okay. Oh, sorry. Hotbar slot data should be good. Okay, and then this one you can break it. We have to go back to the designer here and click on the size box here. Check the is variable to be true, and I'll name this SB_hotbar status. So we can hide and unhide this size box. So So drag it there, set visibility. Okay, the invisibility just get select. Index, put it on the is empty. If it's empty, we're gonna collapse it. If it's false, we're gonna choose the not hit testable, self and all children. Right, and the next one is we're gonna set the hotbar status text. So just gonna get that and set the text like that. Okay, the in text here, maybe I will make it a different one for each item category, since we already defined this in the item data and the data table. Now we can just switch. I just gonna format the text first, grab from the in text and type format text. Zoom it a bit, open curly bracket, line 1, close curly bracket, shift enter to make a new line, and this one is gonna use the E key to consume, and line 2. Okay, something like that. For the line 1, you're just gonna drag from the item name, and for the line 2, I will make a text, so make text, make literal text, and then from this I'm just gonna switch. Select, not that one, the second one. Select here, plug the index into the item category. Okay, and for consumable, I will just say consume. Equipment is, let's get another select. I want to check the is equipment equipped. So if it's equipped, I will say unequip. If it's not equipped, just type equip there. Okay, and for the other items, I just gonna leave it as like use item. Yeah, okay, so feel free to play around with the text value, or if you have any custom text, you can also implement that, or you can even have a variable that says like command interaction prompt inside the item data. It's up to you guys, but here I'm just gonna use the item category because we have created it before. Okay, I'll try to compile and go to the event graph. On Hotbar selected event here, on the end of this, we can now set the Hotbar status based on this Hotbar slot data. Drag off the current selected Hotbar here and get the Hotbar item. Just plug in the Hotbar item to the Hotbar slot data. Compile and play. This one should work. So if we just scroll it like this, it will not show up the text and the status, but if you pick up an item and put it into the hotbar, now it will show the pineapple status there. And also it will work for helmet, for example. Equip, and if we equip the helmet, but we cannot do it now, so just gonna drag it back to the inventory here. Just click that to equip, drag it back to the hotbar, and now it will say unequip. Okay, so that's pretty nice. That is what we want. And I think that's for this video, guys. So in the next video, I will make the consume item function. I think the duration will be very long then. So I'm just gonna stop it right here. I think we have successfully created a hotbar system based on our inventory system. We can drag from the inventory to the hotbar. We can swap between items. We can even swap between items in the hotbar like this, and we can drag it back to the inventory slot as well as dropping it to the level. Alright, so I think that's pretty much it for this video. The project link will be in the link description. So okay guys, so that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys like it and enjoy this video, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the like button. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to feel free to ask me in the comment section below, and I'll be very happy to help you guys. Okay, so I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.